G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the round 18 review. Where do we start? It was a round like no other, carnage like we haven't seen in a very, very long time. I thought the worst of it was when Dusty was ruled out for the remainder of the season, but then some really, really unexpected news. Firstly, if you are an owner of particularly Callum Mills or Toby Greene, my heart does go out to you. Look, this is really going to affect the rankings, and I think that your performance this week would have been, well, at least partly due to the fact if you did or you didn't own one of Mills or Greene. Or I know there were some teams that even don't both. People had already used emergencies. It was just an absolute nightmare. Josh Kelly, even for me, went down. I'm still not sure the severity of his ankle injury. We'll have to wait on news for that. But look, for many teams, you're down to no trades. You've got all these holes in your side now due to injuries, COVID, and just so many unexpected things. Even Josh Dunkley now. That's the latest news that's just come through. He will now be missing for a week after visiting a cafe that was a Tier 1 exposure site. So really concerning news for owners. First and foremost, I hope that everyone's health is good. That's a main priority here. But from a Supercoach perspective, and that's why we're all here for Supercoach, it is just really, really frustrating. But look, for me personally, it wasn't actually a bad week. 24-29 as my round score. Did go up 33 spots in the ranks, now sitting right at 300. So from a personal point of view, it wasn't too bad. But as I said, for others, it's just super, super bad luck. So look, we'll get straight into it, guys. I'll show you how the team's looking. I've got one more trade and some carnage to deal with. So I think we'll keep it pretty brief this week. Certainly nothing outstanding in my defensive line this week. Had three blokes that just scraped to a ton. Lloyd with 100, Stewart with a 102, and Jaden Short with a 104. Look, with Stewart and Lloyd, I'm a little bit disappointed. You always want more than just 100, 105 plus. But from Jaden Short, particularly how I was feeling about him 2-3 weeks ago, I'll bank a 104 every day of the week from him. If he can do that until the end of the season, 2 thumbs up. I'll be really happy there. I was a little bit disappointed with Ridley's score, 87. I'd really talked him up last week, had a superb last month, back to his early season form, but just didn't see this lower score coming. It's certainly not a disaster. What's that, 13 points away from 3 figures. But from Jordan Ridley, I was expecting a 110 plus, but wasn't to be. Unfortunately, we move on. Hopefully he bounces back next week. Jake Lloyd, 100 there. Already mentioned him. A little bit disappointed, but you take it. Stephen May, 67. That was really disappointing because he is a pod for my side, and if he doesn't set the world on fire, then I can tend to struggle as compared to other defensive lines that are finalised at this stage of the season. So hopefully, again, he bounces back. And Lachie Whitfield obviously didn't play. Hopefully he comes back this week. And Bianco, I was really, really happy with him because he scored exactly the same as Tom Highmore. I thought that I may lose out sort of 20 to 30 points at least maybe by fielding Bianco over someone like a Highmore. But in the end, it was a bit of a break even. So really happy with that. And Briggs, he was actually caught up at this COVID rugby game. So he'll be quarantining, I'm pretty sure, with Toby Greene and his other mates, which is really, really unfortunate. Onto the midfield. So, I've got 6 absolute stars here and 2 dud scores for the week. One of these scores, really, really unfortunate. But this man up the top, Sammy Walsh, I made a video about this guy, recommending him in the preseason. I was all over him. This bloke is an absolute star. Now, I know they didn't get any sort of close attention. I can't believe that. I can't believe that Collingwood didn't look to shut him down. But we all knew that he was capable of this early on in his career. I didn't think so. I thought this was probably 1 to 2 years away, big scores like this. But he's really, really pulled it out this year, Sam Walsh. And I'm pretty sure he's now the 5th highest scoring midfielder for overall points. So pats on the back for Sammy Walsh. What a man he is. And how's that goal as well? It just worked so hard to get there. And how it went in, just got the leg, had the energy still. It was just phenomenal. So if you don't own Sam Walsh, I think that this can actually hurt you. I didn't think at really any stage of the season that not owning him could really, really hurt you. But after what he's produced, particularly in the last 2 to 3 weeks, this bloke is an absolute monster at the moment, and the in-form midfielder in the competition. So, Sam Walsh, mate, thank you very much. You saved me from a potential disaster score this week. Jack McRae, so did have him as my vice-captain, and luckily I stayed safe because my backup option was going to be Brodie Grundy. But I thought to myself, do you know what? With all the carnage that we've already seen this round, I'm just going to play it safe. I'm not going to get too greedy. Even if I think Grundy is going to get a 140, 145 type score, is it really worth risking it for an extra 15, 20 points? Yeah, it wasn't for me this week, and I'm super glad that I made that safe decision. It's not always the right way to go about it. Sometimes if you risk it, you could pull off a really, really nice score, gain yourself an extra 40 to 50 points at times. But it was just one of those weeks where I thought that was the best move to play it safe, and glad I did. Titch, wow, just similar to Sammy Walsh, a 171 saved my week, and I am now going to really pump up his tyres because I gave him a bit of a hard time early to mid-stage of the season. He was an absolute roller coaster pick, but now that roller coaster cart is right up the top, and it doesn't look like it's going to drop anytime soon. So I wouldn't refer to him as a roller coaster pick now. I think that Titch is now a very, very safe pick. You are paying up for him now at 613k, but you do have other blokes like Parrish that are hitting that 700 mark along with Steele. So I think he's probably one of your next best options. In saying that, even Bont, I think, is about 619k, believe it or not. So it may be a choice between Mitchell and Bont, and in recent form, Mitchell's got him covered, but could you really go Titch in front of Bont? Probably not for me, but yeah, if you look at his 5-round, even 3-round average, absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, thank you very much for pulling that one out this week, Titch. Zerrett, 114, I thought this could have been a lot higher, but he didn't use the ball overly well. Parrish was the main man, or the main midfielder in this game. Merritt really was the main man last week, but yeah, a little bit disappointing, 114, particularly against North. I thought it would be, at a minimum, that 125 type. So 10 points under that. I suppose we'll take it, though, given the fact that he's gone over around the 115 mark. I think that's okay. That's a pass mark, I think, at this stage. Led with a 104, a lower score from him. Certainly can't complain. Been an absolute gun all season. Clary actually hit some form, so he's been a little bit off, hasn't he, the last month, but a 139, he's really hit back now. That season average is now above 120 again, which is really nice. I've owned him from the start, so the higher that average goes, the better for me. Can we rely on him now as a captaincy option? I'd want to see one more week of solid form before I commit to that. But yeah, with a 139, 2 thumbs up. We'll take that every day of the week. Josh Kelly, Jelly. It's super frustrating. Look, I thought he could get through the rest of the season. I thought I'm not asking too much here, but we all know what can happen with this pick. We all know the potential for Josh Kelly to go down at any time, and he's gone down with an ankle injury. Now, I'm not sure how serious it is. How long will he be missing? I don't know. I really don't know. So if it's long term, I'm obviously, I have to trade him out. But at the same time, that I am a Dustin Martin owner. So I hope that Kelly's only missing for a couple of weeks so I can still hold him, hopefully manage to cover him, and then just trade out Dusty with that one remaining trade that I've got left. But if he's out long term, I've got a big decision on my hands. And given the fact that he's, 100k dearer than Dusty, he'll be the man that I'll need to get rid of. So fingers crossed fingers crossed, I hope that I don't have to. Who knows? It's in the hands of the Supercoach gods. And scarily the GWS medical staff. You just can't trust those blokes. But anyway, fingers crossed for Josh Kelly. Trav Boak, really disappointing. 75. I've been really up and down. 1 week he scored well, the next week he hasn't. Just a real mediocre trade in, and I should know better than this to bring in someone like a Trav Boak. It was all based around my buy structure, my buy plans. Maybe a lesson learned, although I did manage to really go up during the buys, and it was a pretty successful period for me. But yeah, I probably went a little bit over the top in trying to gain points during those rounds. And if I could have that trade back, have Brayshaw there instead of Boak with that extra trade in the bank, if only you could turn back time. I should insert the song Turn Back Time. But anyway, we can't do that. Hopefully moving forward, he just manages to pick that up again. Poulter and Newcomb were both the medical subs, so Newcomb didn't come on. Poulter came on for a lowly score of 16. I hope that he plays again next week. Came on for Josh Thomas, who was concussed, so, not fingers crossed that he's no good. I hope that Thomas obviously recovers, but if he was concussed, obviously he's got to miss next week, so I hope that Poulter is the man that does come in and take his spot. On to the rucks. And I tell you what, if you've got... what am I doing? If you've got Sean Darcy, yeah, congratulations firstly for having the balls to actually pick him. It was a huge move when you got blokes like Grundy that are also on the table. But just super bad luck if he's out for any period of time. I've heard that he may even be back this week, but geez, it'd be a big comeback after getting subbed off, wouldn't it? But yeah, congratulations if you've got him, but bad luck if he does miss any time. But Gawn, mediocre 95, not much to discuss. That's sort of what he's doing these days. But Grundy 88, I watched the first quarter and a bit of this match, and I just put my hands over my eyes. He was looking phenomenal, just golden, Brodie Grundy. I seen him getting a couple of 1-2s, 2 contested marks early on. He was just looking like he was going 150 plus at the early stage of the game. But to end on an 88, yeah, man, and I don't know if I cursed him because I was actually hoping for him not to go too big because I had played it safe with Jack McRae. I thought, geez, I'm going to have egg in my face if he does go 150 plus. I was hoping for a 130 type score without him going too big selfishly. Sounds funny when I actually own him, but it's all to do with the captaincy because I knew many teams had him as a captain. But yeah, I just don't know what happened during the second half. There was one stage where Jack Silvani jumped over the bloke. So what's the reason for that? I couldn't tell you. So super disappointing, Brodie Grundy with an 88. What do? We've got him now, and hopefully, yeah, he'll bounce back next week. Into the forward line. So Zorko really disappointing with a 74. He's starting to absolutely plummet now. He's getting close to 700k, around 600k now, and dropping as well. So hopefully his form can spike back up for me. Danger, just been a phenomenal trade-in for me. Got that massive 180 odd score a few weeks ago, then a sub 100 score, but still in the 90s last week, and then bang, a 134. Yeah, just wrapped to have this bloke. I got him in really, really cheap at a bargain price. He almost finds himself now at 600k and actually rising. So if you've got the money to trade up to Dangerfield, if you don't have him from a Dusty Martin, certainly go for it. Or else this other man, Aaron Hall, scored 110. I did skip Zeeble, 92. We've all got him, not much to say again. But Aaron Hall, he's just a great pick. And there was one stage, I swear, I looked at Fan Footy and he was on 117 points. So just didn't have a big impact in the last quarter. But that was looking like another nice 130 plus, but really did slow down. I'm not sure what happened with the scaling there. I really couldn't tell you. But a little bit ripped off, I think, Aaron Hall. I think a big reason for it is his lack of contested possession. We know Supercoach is a game that rewards those that get the contested pill rather than those seagull types. They can obviously build up big scores with their disposal count and all the rest, particularly Aaron Hall that loves to kick the ball rather than handball. But unfortunately, yeah, I think that the players that got scaled well for this game are those players that actually won their own ball. But yeah, still a terrific selection, Aaron Hall. And Big Rowan, this is the trade that I did make this week. There were so many options on the table. This was really, really tough. There were a couple of three reasons why I decided to bring him in. The first one was that I thought that he looked fit. He's actually had his surgery now, and I was actually going to start with this bloke at over 500k, well over 500k. Secondly, he was coming up against Port Adelaide, and if you look at his record against Port, I think he's averaging about 140, 150, something crazy like that. So that was really tempting, particularly for this week when you first bring him in. I know it's a long-term game. He does come up against Nick Nat this week, so I do understand all that. I did look into all that, but short term that was looking really nice. And thirdly, it's his DPP status. The fact that I've got Edwards in the ruck with all this carnage that's been going on, who's to say that you're safe with your R1 and R2 not going down for the rest of the season? I'm not trying to jinx anything, so don't go off me there, but it's always really, really nice to have that extra coverage there. And I have basically got every DPP swing that you can almost possibly have, apart from a couple of weird ones like your defensive ruck types, which just really aren't viable anyway. So yeah, Rowan, really successful. That 127 could have been bigger actually, because he did have 2 shots for goal, but I think it was straight in front, about 40 metres out, kicked a couple of points, so that could have been actually 150. We say what could have been with many of these selections. Zorko, for example, 3 behinds he kicked that were all pretty gettable, and then a couple, I think one was out in the full, and another one that just got to the goal line, and instead of sailing through that extra couple of metres for a goal, yeah, Richmond player marks it on the line, and that's all of a sudden a turnover. So little things can go a long way in Supercoach, but yeah, disappointed about Zorko. And Dusty, this is obviously one of the major talking points. He's gone for the season. Mitch Robbo, yeah, gave him a pretty fair one there. it's just such bad luck, isn't it? Because Dusty is one of the most durable players in the game. That's one of the pros for selecting Dusty whenever you do. He just does not miss games of football. I think it was, how many games? I forget what the percentage was, but it's really, really high 90s, his percentage of playing games. So that's really unfortunate. Who do we bring in for him? Well, it depends if you've got the cash. We'll talk about this obviously in the stock market video, but I think an obvious choice, if you don't have any cash in the bank, is probably his teammate Shea Bolton. If not, you'd love to go up to a premium such as your Danger or your Hall. But for me, I'll be looking at a Bailey Dale, Nick Hind, Tommy Hawkins type myself probably. But again, this is probably a discussion for the stocky. But yeah, he's 100% a trade out. He's gone for the season. If you've got 1, 2, it doesn't matter how many trades you've got. You've just got to use it. There's no worth keeping on to the trade, I don't think. Just move him on. Just move him on. But the dilemma is, if you do own someone like a Kelly and he's out for 4 weeks, do you say to yourself, well, I could actually bring in, depending on how much money you've got, an Uber premium for those 4 weeks, even though he's going to come back for maybe the last week or the Supercoach finals. I'm just predicting if he is out for a month, just saying he is coming back later. Do you do that, or do you get Dusty out now, who's guaranteed not to come back? It's a really big decision. So we'll talk about that a lot in the next video. And Jimmy Madden on the bench, 38. Well, my plan at one stage was just to hold Langford, see what Madden scored, and if Madden scored a 75 plus, I was just going to keep that trade, just ride him out for the next couple. But with a 38, I thought, I probably just can't take that on field. I'm going to move Langford on. So was that the right decision, the wrong decision? I'm not too sure. But yeah, Dustin Martin certainly will be going for me this week. And as you can see, I've got 50k and 1 trade. So I'll let you know what I'm going to do probably in the stock market video. I still haven't even got my head around this round yet. What's going to happen moving forward? A Supercoach going to put something in place to try to compensate those people that own the Mills Green types. I'm really not too sure. I don't know what the blokes down there can do to make it fair. Whatever decision they make, yeah, you won't please everybody. And there's going to be some people that are overly happy about it, and some people that would be absolutely ropeable if any changes were implemented. But it is what it is at this stage. It's really, really tough luck. But again, if you are an owner of any of the players that's likely to be missing either short-term or long-term, yeah, good luck. Really tough luck. I'm in the same boat as everyone. The fact that I've got to get rid of Dusty. I know many people in this community have Jelly, but I suppose I have dodged a bullet with Mills and Green, and obviously Dunkley. So that's it for now, guys. All the best of luck, and I'll see you soon in the stocky. Cheers, guys. Bye.